Fifth and Wade. Thanks for joining me today. In this episode, we'll talk about some Mother's Day gifts, some memories of my childhood with my mom, as well as, some things I'm working on. So, happy Mother's Day to all of the moms out there across the world. We celebrate it here in the USA. However, um, motherhood is a universal love. And so, giving shout outs and kudos and atta girls and keep going and ask for forgiveness to all the moms out there. I hope you enjoy not only this day, but every day we are granted the opportunity. We are blessed with the experience of being a mom. So happy Mother's Day to you. Now, for Mother's Day, I was able to complete quite a few things for my mom. Not as many as I hoped to have sent her, but she was happy with what I sent her, and we'll get into that next. So, for my mom, I started early April. There was a couple of things that I was able to finish up actually like within the first 10 days or so of April because I wanted her to try them on to make sure they fit before I kept going. And so I made her two tanks from Kwik Sew. And that is a very easy pattern. And actually I made the two tank tops as well as the cardigan from that pattern envelope. And so the first one, unfortunately, I thought I did everything right. I was lining stuff up and making sure that, stuff was just balanced. And as you see, I still cut it in the wrong direction. I mean, they're even, they're just upside down. So I was a bit bummed about that because this was fabric from So Natural Dame 2021's BHM Pattern Designers Challenge. It was the first year she had released some bespoke fabric. And so I had bought a couple different fabrics from her. And I held on to it obviously for over a year because I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. And so when I had this tank top come up, I figured, oh, my mom, you know what? She would really like that. It's kind of easy breezy. I think I only bought like 1 yard of it. And so there wasn't much I knew that I would be able to do with it, but I wanted to use up as much as possible. And so I figured this tank top would be it. So in terms of the fabric, great to work with, really nice. I really like it. That's why I held on to it for so long. However, it was user error in terms of me not, triple checking because I had looked at it and double checked and all that. And then I think what happened was I needed to turn the pattern around or something, and so that's where I got mixed up in actually the orientation of the faces going down instead of up. So I was a little sad about that, but nonetheless I did get it finished. Now I also did a second version of this tank top and I was able to couple it with the actual cardigan, and so very pleased about that. Both of them, the tank as well as the cardigan, and actually the two of them together was able to be, in support of Talisha and Rochelle's Sewing 5 and Below series because the tank top is just 2 pieces and the cardigan is just 3 pieces. So you can do both of those with 5 pieces. The skirt, I believe, is 3 pieces as well. So if you do the skirt and the tank, if you have this pattern or find it in the drawer still, that would qualify for sewing 5, hashtag sewing 5 and below as well. So I was happy that I was able to, a little late, able to support their series. But it's something that is, I believe, ongoing. And so at any given point in the year, as you see this video or come across theirs, which I will link below, know that there is a series out there for 5 pattern pieces and below. And so those were the first 3 things that I made my mom. The last thing that I made her was actually a dress. And so this is another very easy pattern in terms of number of pieces. Now this one didn't qualify because it actually had 6 pieces, but pretty simple to put together. Instructions were very easy to follow. There wasn't anything, you know, just like hair pulling or just frustrating about them, because both of these patterns have no closures, no zippers, no buttons, no hook and eyes, no ties or ribbon or anything like that. So it's just basically material, thread, and I think some elastic for the dress. Yeah, for the dress, but none of that for the tank and the cardigan. So as far as simple patterns to put together, very easy. My mom did get it last week. I think she tried them all on and said they fit well, so I was happy about that. So hopefully in my May roundup, I will, or April roundup, I will be able to insert some pictures of her actually wearing the garments. So I'm happy about that. So Mom got her Mother's Day gifts on time this year, like before Mother's Day actually got here. So I was happy about that because I was away a little bit for some work travel. So I had to get it in the mail before I got back. So I was happy that she was able to receive those. So in terms of Mother's Day memories. Now, some of the most vivid memories I have as a child is my mom taking us to the library. And I spoke about this a little before in terms of how much I heart libraries. Like, as a child, it was the best thing going because going to the library was a treat. Like, it was just so many books. And of course, at I don't know, 2 feet, 3 feet, or whatever I was. It was huge. It was like, oh my gosh, like a mansion, a castle, just area and space, and space for days. Fast forward 20 something years, and I go back to that library, and it was like, wait, what happened to the big library that I used to go to as a kid? What happened here? Like, this library is so small. Like, it's amazing, right? Perception is everything. As a toddler, or maybe not a toddler, well, maybe as a toddler too, but the years I remember, I was actually able to read. So as someone in primary school, going to the library, grabbing all the books, place was huge. Now, the one thing I do remember and treasure the most was that they actually had a treasure chest. So as you walked into the library, I believe it was to my right hand side, they had an aquarium. Of course, it looked huge, like a whale was in it when I was a kid. Now it's probably about a 40-gallon tank in reality, and it's not even there anymore. But it's just normal size, but they had a little treasure chest in there, and that was just one of the fondest memories of going to the library because I could see the treasure chest, I could see the fish that were in there swimming around. It was just an awesome experience, which I have carried through my entire life. Now, I continue to go to the library every chance I get. And as a matter of fact, during the pandemic, as I mentioned before in another video, like, they saw me all the time. I was there dropping off books, picking up books, and I don't mean like 2 or 3. We're talking like, you know, a dozen at a time. Many of them were sewing books. Some of them were like cooking books. There may have been a few exercise books or something like that. They were all books. I was just like obsessed with libraries at the time. And so they practiced all the safety protocols and brought it out to your car, put it in your trunk, and did all that. So shout out again to all of our public library workers across the country and across the world. You are much appreciated. Now, in the previous videos, well, I talked about some books that I had borrowed, and then took pictures, lost the pictures, couldn't remember, and I said, okay, this time I'm going to take the pictures, I'm going to write it down someplace else so I don't forget. But ultimately, I do want to purchase these books because I just want to have them, you know, readily available to me at all times, and not necessarily waiting for them to become available at the library if they're already checked out, or having to go back and get them each time I'm wanting to make a pattern out of it. So I have today just 3 of the books that I seem to go back to over and over again. So the first book is Do you see this bag? Do you see this? I judged a book by its cover. Yes, I did with this book because this bag is beautiful. I mean, look. Uh-oh. You can carry like everything, or at least I can carry everything in this bag. I can take it to the grocery store. I can take it like retail shopping, home decor shopping, and just be like, no, I don't need a bag. I got one right here. I can fit everything I need in this bag. So the name of this book is called Carry Me. And I'm not going to butcher the author's name. So I will just get it close because my first name is Valencia, and it's been butchered for all my life. And so I try not to do that to other people. But I will put it here on the screen as well as get this close to you, so you can see that author's name. But this book has some beautiful bags in it. Not just this one. As it says, it's 20 bouquet bags to sew, and quite a few in here that I really, really like. So you can get it probably at your local bookstore, of course, at Amazon or something like that. I would encourage you to support your local library, pick it up first, borrow it. If you don't have a library card, it's very easy. I know I can't speak for every public library system in America, but I'm pretty sure they're the same. They're free and easy to use. And so hopefully if they have this, it's available with many libraries. If they don't have it, you can recommend they purchase it. And a lot of times they are able to do that. So this is book number 1, not in any particular order, but this is book number 1 in terms of one to borrow if you're into bag making or thinking about bag making. These books actually have, or at least this one actually have the pattern dimensions in the back of them, so you can scale it, measure it out to the size that you need to, and not necessarily have to worry about, is the pattern actually in this book? It's the book. The patterns are the book. So you can pick this up and begin to put together some bags for your needs. Okay, so book number 2. This book, Making Stylish Belts. Oh, get it. Just get the book. I don't even have to open the page. Just look at some of these belts right here on the cover, and that pretty much tells you all you need to know about this book. Again, judge a book by its cover. Get this book. There are, I forget how many in here, and it doesn't say on the front, but there are quite a few belts in different materials. So you have your leather, you have your vinyl, you have your fabric, and a couple other different materials as well to create various types of belts in here. It also shows you some other belts or different alternative ways to make the belt in other materials or to add things to it. So if you are able to, support your local library and get this book. There's one belt in here that I am like so wanting to make. It's leather, but I'll probably make it in fabric first. And then once I, make sure I have all the dimensions right or yada yada, then I am going to try to find some actual leather, some real leather, and make this belt. But this book, I believe, has the dimensions, yeah. So this one has, it doesn't have the actual pattern pieces in here. Okay, let me rephrase that. It doesn't have separate pages of patterns. It does have, like the first one, the actual patterns as a part of the book. So you would just need to scale the pages or, copy them or whatever, and then scale them up to the size that you need to make sure that it's wearable for a human or an adult, and then be able to create this. Again, I encourage you, borrow the book from your library, breeze through it to see or peruse through it to see if you like it, and then support your local bookstore or Amazon to pick this one up. This book is by, now these names I can pronounce, is by Ellen Goldstein-Lynch, Nicole Malone, and Sarah Mullins. And so it's made for do-it-yourselfers. So pretty simple. I've read through some of the instructions of the belts that I'm looking at making, and they seem pretty straightforward, something that I would be able to follow along with, so you shouldn't have any problems either, especially if you're an advanced sewer or advanced beginner, intermediate sewist. You probably won't have any issues as well. But belts is another book that I recommend that you pick up. Okay, now lastly is Weekend Sewing, and this is by Heather Ross. Now this book should look familiar because this was the book that I had mentioned when I made my Sew Yellow for #SewYellowForIndo dress. That was a challenge on Instagram, and there was a bag that I had made in conjunction with that. And so it was the weekend bag. The everything tote. I always get the name mixed up, but it's in this book. And there are quite a few other things in this book that I want to make as well. So again, another one that I am looking to purchase. But for this one, it actually does have separate pattern pages. And so hopefully you have some very friendly borrowers of your public library, and no one has damaged or taken the patterns out of the book, and so hopefully they'll still be there for you when you borrow it. Again, local bookstore, Amazon. All three of them I have seen in on Amazon or Etsy or something like that, so they are available in the marketplace. But I would strongly encourage you to support your local library. Not only these three books, but just look up sewing books, instructional sewing books. There's an abundance of books out there for that. Fitting books and learning how to make and draft patterns, all of that, again, is available at your local library. Now, speaking of how-to, the top that I'm actually wearing is from Sew It Academy. It's an academy that is has been founded by Mimi G of Mimi G Style, and this is actually a two-piece set. And I want to say it's like in the series of lesson 2, maybe 3, but I'm pretty sure it was like real close to the very beginning of the lessons where you actually draft a top and a skirt for your dimensions and are able to create a full garment. Now, when I made this, it was last year, so 2021, and I was able to actually enter it for the Sew Purple for Alzheimer's by Michelle from @Michelle Sews Again, Michelle Sews Again, and I was able to support that that challenge there as well. Or actually, it was Sew Purple for ALZ, I believe, is what the actual challenge name was. So, so I'm happy that this is one that I am able to continue to wear. It's a pretty simple make. She got Mimi guides you through, you know, the entire process. I'll leave a link below in terms of Sew It Academy if you're interested. It's not an affiliate link or anything like that, but I've enjoyed my experience with the class. I've like looked ahead at some of the other classes like, whoa, I'm gonna be able to make that. So, you know, a lot of people use the Academy, so, you know, you can Google or do a search here and find others review of it as well. But just wanted to mention that. I don't think I really mentioned any time when I'm wearing something I actually made, so I wanted to make sure I did that. So from the library to Sew It Academy to just other YouTube channels here, there is a wealth of information to help us all grow on our sewing journey. So I mentioned that this was for Michelle, or for a challenge that was hosted by Michelle Sews Again. And I want to give a thank you and shout out to Michelle, who mentioned me on one of her Friday Sews videos. And for anyone that's come over from Michelle's recommendation, welcome and thank you so very much for joining me. I hope that you stick around. Now, the last part of this is what I'm working on next. So in a couple videos here, you'll see some patterns or some garments that I finished up. that I am quite happy with, as well as two that I'm working on right now, and that is McCalls 7975. And I am working on View A. Now this I believe was a fall, um, pattern release in like 2019 or something like that. So it's been out for a while, but it's still in the drawers because Myra, Lorraine, as well as T from Crumpets Tea and Sewing, they did a collaboration for this sometime in 2019, and I did watch both of their videos and was able to write down some tips in terms of their experience with this pattern. And also Bridget J. Jones, she did a sew-along for this pattern as well here on YouTube, and so I'm going to use that with the knowledge that I have from Myra and T, and be able to put this one together. So I'm excited to get that done. And then to go along with that, I'm actually making Simplicity 9376, and I am making D, which is what the model is wearing here. And so it looks to be a pretty not so difficult pattern to put together. When I did a search, there was only one person who had reviewed, who had reviewed the pattern, and that was Sarah from @naughty-gnome. I'll leave her a link to that video down below as well. And so she kind of talked about her experience with it. Unfortunately, there isn't a sew-along to go with this. So if there's anybody out there that is interested in doing a sew-along for this, please do. For anyone in the future viewing this, that they will have something to fall back on in addition to the written instructions. And so I'm working my way through that. Both of them are cut out, so now I'll just take this week to actually sew them up and hopefully have them done by Friday. So that's what I'm working on. I just wanted to share some of my memories as a child with my mom taking me to the library and just instilling a love of reading in me, as well as I guess a pizza obsession. Because now when I was a little girl, Pizza Hut had this thing called Book It. I think they still have it. It may have changed a little bit over the years, but basically you would read a book, write a report, and then every, I think, 10 reports that you write, you was able to earn a personal pan pizza. And so that was motivation enough for me to read as many books as I can and actually write a report about them. So I can't even tell y'all how many pizzas I earned in any given summer, but just know I was never short of an ability to get a personal pan pizza. So like I said, Pizza Hut, I think, may still have some type of, Book It program still available. So if you have a little one that is interested in reading, or maybe needs some encouragement, motivation, or reward for reading and writing, because that's the important part too, is writing and comprehension, then I would encourage you to look up that program or something similar. So in terms of moms, again, happy Mother's Day to all of you. Happy Mother's Day to my mom. Love ya. Thank you for everything you've done to get me this far in life, and I hope that I have made you proud. Now, as far as a dedication for this video, I am dedicating this video to Needle and Fur. She is a YouTuber here that I forget exactly when she started. I want to say it was just a little before I did. And we have kind of latched on to each other and have been, viewing and commenting on each other's videos pretty religiously. She actually started a virtual book club or library club a few weeks ago, and has put out a couple of different videos in terms of books that you will probably enjoy hearing about and possibly researching to see if you can get your hands on, because some of those books really are instructional and how-to and things to consider and what to look for. And so I will leave a link below, of course, to her YouTube channel, as well as at least one of those videos for you to check out. In addition to that, she has some fun on her videos. I'm not gonna spoil it, but there is some dancing in at least one of them. for you to go and check out. So be sure to check out Needle and Fur. As always, thanks so much for joining me. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I appreciate your time in walking with me on this sewing journey, and I'll see you next time. Bye.